What's up, everybody? It's the Poppin' T Podcast. Here with your host, Poppin' T. As usual, Poppin' T. Pop, what's the tea for today, man?
So the tea for today is that our boy, McDonough alum, Penn State alum, PJ Mustipher has signed a 1-year deal with the Philadelphia Eagles. Back with his boy Saquon Barkley. We're happy for PJ. Happy that he's going to a little bit better of a organization than the Broncos. No hate towards the Broncos, but
and the Saints.
Yeah, and the Saints, but yeah, we're happy for him. How you feeling about that for PJ?
I love the move, especially after Fletcher Cox retired. Might have the chance to go in there and fight for a starting job. Tallied 145 tackles, 11 TFLs, 3 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles in his career at Penn State. It was first team Big Ten selection in 2021. So I'm hoping, the kid can go in there and make an impact because he is a mountain of a human. He's an absolute dog on the football field.
He bullied me when we were in high school, so congrats to him.
The Eagles almost took my life. PJ almost took my life.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
But the Eagles run a nice little rotation on their defensive front, so if there's any place for him to get some work, it's the Eagles are looking like a good spot for that. So congrats to him. We're excited for his new opportunity in Philadelphia.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, today we wanted to talk about this crazy free agency period. It was like a Madden free agency period. All these
100%.
huge name players going to different places, shaking up the league, making some units just crazy looking. So we're excited to talk about some of our favorite moves, some of our moves that we dislike, who we think killed free agency, who we think did not kill free agency. But let's get right into it. TJ, let's just start. What was your favorite move of free agency?
My favorite
not
move?
Not necessarily like who you were most happy about, because we'll get to the king later in this episode. But I wanted to hear what you think is going to be the best move for any of the 32 teams. Like, what's that fit for you?
I know to the viewers I might sound biased as an offensive lineman, but to me, my favorite signing was Kevin Zeitler by the Detroit Lions. They solidified that old line, man, from left to right. You got Taylor Decker, Graham Glasgow. I'm not sure if I said his last name correctly. Yeah. Frank Ragnow, Kevin Zeitler, and Penei Sewell. That team is going to be back in the NFC Championship, I promise you. It starts up front. We all know that. Like you said in the previous episode, that's how Michigan won their national championship. And Detroit has done that for sure. So I'm expecting a big year from them, Pop. But let me hear what you got. What was your favorite move this free agency?
I was looking at the Lions. I'll save that one, though. But my favorite was definitely Danielle Hunter to the Texans. I just think that D'Amico was chomping at the bit for Danielle as soon as free agency opened. Being able to pair up Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter, two of the most athletic edge rushers in the entire league, on the same defensive line, with a defensive guru head coach in D'Amico Ryans, who was scheming up pressure all season with not Danielle Hunter. And now you stick that in there and just it's like D'Amico just got a new car. Like, this defensive line is gonna go crazy, and I think that's a big enough move where they're competing for the AFC. Like, not competing to be in the playoffs in the AFC. Like, they're competing against the Chiefs now. Like, with that defensive line, with CJ looking how it is, like,
can't forget about that
Oh yeah,
Can't forget
I
about
like them.
those. I think they're cold, man.
I like them, but you gotta get a pass rush against Patrick Mahomes, and all of a sudden the Texans got the one of the best pass rushes in the AFC. So I
Yeah,
love the move.
100%. Daniil came off a career high 16 and a half last year. Will Anderson Jr. posted 7 with an 81.8 PFF grade. As we all know, one defensive rookie of the year. And like you said, man, they're going to be competing. They played the Ravens in the divisional round last year, one step away from the AFC Championship game. It's a young team. Stroud is on a rookie deal. They have the money, and they're excuse me, almost slipped out, and they're freaking spending it. And I love to see that, especially like, being a Ravens fan, kind of seeing the way they did it, the way they went about it, kind of waiting until they paid Lamar to finally go make some moves just didn't make sense to me. So while you have a quarterback on a rookie deal, you're not paying him $35 million a deal. You have to go get as much talent as you can get. They're paying Daniil $25 a year almost, but I don't see a problem with it. If it gets you to that next step, I think it was the correct move for sure.
I think it's like a no-brainer. Like they are going out and spending money on a lot of really great players, and why not? Like CJ's cheap, Nico's cheap, Tank Dell is cheap. The only player you're really paying anything right now is Laramie Tunsil. Let's go out and spend some money. I think personally that the Texans may have had the best free agency. Like from their bigger moves in Daniil Hunter, and I love the Danico Autry signing as well. Just a really underrated D tackle. But
They also added Joe Mixon via trade. Re-signed
Dalton Schultz came back.
And I believe they signed Shaq Mason, right? Or was he there last year?
They might have done that during the season.
That was during the season.
Yeah, but I mean, you're taking flyers on a Jeff Okuda. Like, if that works out, that's house money that you're getting a top 3 pick in the draft.
Yeah.
Like, and the reason why I love what the Texans have done, this last year, they signed pretty much their entire team on these 1-year deals, which at first it's like, why are you signing them to 1-year deals? They're just gonna walk away at the end of the season. But it really gave them the flexibility to, after this past season, like, all right, you can really pick and choose the guys that really were an impact for you, bring them back, bring back a Dalton Schultz on a 3-year after he played very well on that 1-year deal, bring back a Noah Brown who was on a 1-year. Like, it was frowned upon by a lot of people because their whole team was on 1-year deals, but then it's really turned into, in my opinion, the best free agency in the league. So
yeah, it's like taking
really
a girl to
interesting.
McDonald's on the first date. You gotta make sure it's the one. You know, make sure she's cool with the McDonald's. All right, she's cool with that. All right, then we step it up. We signed 3 or 4 year deals after that. Go to Outback,
Chris after
something
that.
like that. Yeah, it's a guy like me. I'm gonna Texas Roadhouse. Yeah, that's an expensive step. Always with the cinnamon butter.
Oh,
Every time.
You can't beat it.
Not at all.
Let's talk some crappy moves here. What do you think was the worst move of free agency?
The worst move of free agency. That's a hard one. This might upset
It might have
some
happened
people.
today. Might have happened today.
It might have. I personally am going to say Brian Burns, though.
Wow.
Brian Burns.
Why?
150 mil over 5 years? No. No. The only pass rushers in this league that I'm giving 30 mil a year to are Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Micah Parsons, and Nick Bosa. I'm not giving anybody else that money. I don't want to say I think New York will regret that down the road, but like they just might. Because they're going to have to pay Deontay Banks soon. Not soon, but down the road. And they're also going to have to pay Thibodeau down the road. And there's just no way you're paying 2 pass rushers north of 20 mil a year. So it's like they're either going to lose Burns via trade again or Thibodeau in free agency. Obviously, he's a proven talent, and you take the Burns over Thibodeau. Even though I'm not saying Thibodeau isn't proven, but I would say Burns has more stripes. I know Burns is young, but 30 mil a year for a pass rusher, that's not Bosa, Garrett, Watt, or Parsons. I can't agree with that.
I get it. I mean, I don't think I would pay that much either, but you got to think about it from the Giants' perspective. Like, you're going to have to pay whoever you're bringing in a little bit more because you're the Giants. You're trying to improve past that terrible last season, and I think making a splash like that is a great way to do it. I do think that they will regret it down the road because cap hits like that always end up hurting. Like,
every time.
Look at the Chargers right now, and
it blew the whole team up basically.
And at the time, we were like, okay, Khalil Mack, okay, Joey Bosa, like, they're gonna be sick. And then it didn't work out, and now they're paying for it. And Justin Herbert's not gonna have receivers.
Oh, so he has 2 receivers on his depth chart right now.
So, I mean, it's tough. Yeah, I don't know. You're converting me a little bit because I was thinking I was thinking in my head like, all right, if you're the Giants and you think that you can get back to how you were in 2022 with that little playoff berth, like maybe this is a move to take you a step above that. But why would you think that?
Because at the end of the day, you have to score points to win football games. We just watched the Ravens hold Pat Mahomes to 17 points and lose the game. Brian Burns isn't going to get the ball into the end zone. Like, you should have went and spent those resources on a wide receiver. Like, you can still take one in the draft, don't get me wrong, but, like, if you're paying Daniel Jones, I think his contract is 140 mil over 4 or 160 mil over 4, you got to get the man weapons. And obviously Brian Burns is a weapon, but he's just not on the same side of the ball. And I just don't think it's going to work out for New York. Especially after you decided that you said F Saquon and we weren't going to pay Saquon, and then you go get Brian Burns 30 mil. It didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think it's the price tag. I don't hate the trade for Brian Burns.
Not at all.
Second and a fifth is fine. We'll see down the road if they end up regretting that, but if I had to put some money on it, they're probably going to regret that.
I think they will.
Yeah. But, I mean, that D-line for this season is going to be sick.
It's going to be great.
The fact that you have Thibodeau as your 3, he's going to get the one-on-ones, or who... I mean, Dexter Lawrence is going to be taking up 2 blockers. You're going to have Brian Burns and Thibodeau with one-on-ones.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be a disgusting duo. Just like you said, for that price tag, I just can't agree with it.
Hey, I get it. Let me talk about my worst signing. As soon as they made this deal, I was like, what are you doing? The Arizona Cardinals signing Jonah Williams to a 2-year, $30 million contract. That's
Yikes.
good tackle money.
They should have just went and threw that money into a wishing fountain somewhere.
That's what I'm saying. And you're bringing him in to be a starter. The Bengals have been trying to get rid of this man since the moment they drafted him, bringing Leo Collins and Orlando Brown and whoever else they can sign to just fill that right tackle spot. He's been on the trade market for who knows how long with the Bengals, and you're going to bring him in for good tackle money? It doesn't make any sense to me. And it's the same thing with you have to pay more because you're the Cardinals and you're in a rebuild. But I mean, there was other offensive linemen that you could have gone for. I like it that you can keep Paris at left tackle, but wasn't Jonah Williams complaining about having to play right tackle in Cincinnati? Like, nothing about the deal made sense to me. It was immediately, as soon as it happened, I was like, that's the worst deal of free agency. It didn't even matter what else was going to happen the rest of free agency.
Yeah, it's definitely
I
definitely
hated
up there. It's insane because his base salary guaranteed for the next year is only $2.5 million. But he has a contract guarantee of 21.5. So he's going to get his money. But like the cap hit isn't bad because you know how they work deals with incentives and roster being on the roster, stuff like that. But yeah, I don't like that. I can't say I don't like it more than I dislike the Jerry Jeudy signing.
Ugh. See, that's worse than Brian Burns.
Yeah. I think I could. Yeah.
How much money did Calvin Ridley just make?
Was it 92?
Over
4 or 5? Let me see.
Yeah, I'm about to look.
I believe it was 92 over 4. Yeah, 92 over 4. Because AJ got 100 over 4 from the Eagles.
What's that math work out to?
23 a year.
And then
For a 40-year-old wide receiver.
Jerry Jeudy got what, 19 a year?
Yeah, 58 over 3. So 19.3 a year.
No. For a guy that's completely unproven, your team's already in cap hell. Your quarterback's going to cost $65 million next year.
Jeez.
You're going to go out and sign a dude that's unproven when you've got other things to worry about?
Yeah, Jerry Jeudy has yet to eclipse 1,000 yards in a season.
You're lying.
I promise you. He is yet to eclipse 1,000 yards in a season.
This is like...
I'm telling you, he walked into the negotiation with a gun in hand and demanded his money. Like, that's the only way that contract makes sense.
How is it that these players, like, revolving around the Broncos can just get traded and then get deals before playing a snap? Like, I get that normally comes with it, but Jerry Jeudy had another year that you could have tested him out and then...
Yeah. They could have waited to make this deal. They didn't have to make this right now.
I mean, what?
And I think it's $41 million guaranteed.
And the Browns, to me, had a pretty good free agency otherwise. Like, bring back the defensive linemen that they did, especially Za'Darius on that cheap of a deal.
I like the Jerry trade before they signed him to that contract.
Yeah.
Like I was a big fan of that trade. You know, putting him behind Cooper. But then they paid him, and it just don't
that
make
went
sense
out the
to me.
window.
Yeah, it's not a bad weapon room though. Nick Chubb, you know, when he gets back, gets healthy. Jerome Ford, Naeem Hines, Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore, David Njoku, and the man
It's definitely
himself,
nice.
James Prochet.
Whew. Come on, son. Come on,
Secret
son. Get that
Weapon
man on
X.
punt return.
Secret Weapon X.
Been dropping-
Put him on a wide receiver pass.
Hey,
Let
no,
him-
he's gonna be a number one day.
Let him cock back like Greg let him.
I heard he's been killing it in camp.
Just like they said every year in Baltimore, man. This is his
Yeah.
breakout year. This is the year.
Yeah, I think I give that Browns free agency a B minus.
Yeah, it was definitely up there, A minus C, but then after that contract, just in the gutter for sure.
Can we talk about it now? Can we talk about it?
Wait. I said let's talk about our enemies first, and then let's
Okay.
talk about the king. Let's talk about the queen.
All right.
Patrick Queen, $41 million over 3 years to the Pittsburgh Steelers. How do you feel about it?
I mean, I think they got him on a steal, honestly. I thought there was a pretty good chance that he was going to get like the Tremaine Edmonds type of deal, where, I mean, Tremaine got 18 a year. Just like a really athletic number 2 linebacker on their team, first round pick. Like, that's Patrick Queen. That's what he was. Tremaine was behind Matt Milano, very athletic, very young, developing, had a very good contract year. That was Pat Queen. And
Yep.
for them to be able to get him on $5 million less a year, I mean, they got a steal. I don't think that he's going to be able to. I mean, I think he'll make an impact on the defense for sure, but like, I'm gonna be interested to see what he looks like without Roquan, because the Pat Queen that was dominating the last year and a half was after Roquan got there. So it's gonna be interesting. But do you hate Patrick Queen now, like so many other Ravens fans?
I can't say I hate him. I can't say that I'm disappointed though. Like you couldn't have followed Mac to Seattle, you know? Like you couldn't have left, went over there with your D coordinator that made you shine. You had to go join Pittsburgh, like our bitter rival. Like the Bengals would be different, the Browns would be different, but like Pittsburgh, like that one stung a little bit. I was thinking about that meme. You know the meme where the guy's like, brother, ugh.
Which
Have you
one?
seen that? It's this guy. He's like, brother, like brother, what is
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Brother, like that's how I felt
I have
when
seen
I
that.
saw that news. But that defense is going to be good though. Larry Ogunjobi, Cam Hayward, T.J. Watt, Pat Queen, Alex Highsmith, Minka Fitzpatrick, Joey Porter Jr.,
Deshaun's in there.
Deshaun, the head cracker, the king killer. But I don't think he necessarily takes that defense to the next level. But I will be interested to see him being a number 1 linebacker again. Because I know as Ravens fans, we were kind of frustrated with him at first, just because of his inconsistent play as the number 1 linebacker, playing next to Josh Bynes and playing next to L.J. Fort, Malik Harrison, those type of guys. But like you said, when Roquan stepped in, that really took his game to the next level because he was playing with a linebacker for the first time in his career that was as fast as him. And the thing with PQ was like, he was so fast, and he read through offenses very quickly. He made his reads quickly. He would get to the hole, but there was nobody else to help him if he missed a tackle. You saw a lot in Baltimore with him and Roquan. 0 and 6 were at the ball at the same time a lot. If 6 missed, 0 was going to come clean it up. If 0 missed, 6 was going to come clean it up. He just didn't have that in the beginning of his career in Baltimore. And I'm not saying Alex Highsmith is slow. But he's obviously not Roquan Smith. So I'm interested to see him being a number 1 again. Curious to how that goes.
And I also feel like all these moves, it's like, all right, we really haven't fixed our biggest defensive issue, which is outside corner.
Yeah.
I mean, you
They
get
got-
Dante Jackson in that trade, but I mean, Dante Jackson is not on the upswing
Only
with
thing
his
I know
career anymore.
about Dante Jackson is that he has a 95 speed on Madden.
Not anymore. It's wrong if that's still true.
That's where
because-
they got him at last I checked.
Oof. I mean, he hasn't been the same player that he was 2 or 3 years ago, but I mean, it's definitely still going to be probably a top 10 defense, but
Yeah, without question.
they're going to be an issue. What do we think about the QB moves?
Danger Russ and Justin Fields. I don't know.
He said, "Get those white boys out of there."
I don't know, man. This is going to be interesting this year. Cause it's like I don't know what to think of Russell Wilson. Like you've seen flashes of it, and you've seen I think he threw 28 and 12 last year. But like the record in Denver just doesn't show. Has a losing record in Denver, but like the kid was productive, and it's not like he's necessarily going to a better situation in my eyes. Right now, his wide receiver core is George Pickens, Van Jefferson, and Calvin Austin the third.
Nope.
For that, you might as
That's
well have stayed
bad.
in Denver. So I don't know. You got Fryermuth. Hopefully Darnell Washington, puts it together. Kid is like 6'7", like 245 or something like that.
It's a tackle, pretty much.
Basically. So yeah, I don't really know, man. Justin Fields should take the job eventually, but I saw that they wanted to sign Russ to a long-term deal. So like I don't know how long Jay Fields is going to be a backup, but I don't think he's ready for that anyways.
So if you're Mike, you're starting Russ
Yeah, I'm starting
without.
Russ.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I do think even if Russ isn't the top 5 guy that he was in the past, like I do think that this is the biggest steal to get him on essentially vet min $1.2 million. Like that's house money. Like
Yeah.
if he comes out and balls out, like you're paying nothing for him. You're probably paying more for Justin Fields. So
Like Denver is paying them for him. So
yeah,
that $1 million deal, it's great for Pittsburgh.
like I don't know if the QB room definitely got better, but it I kind of like it for us because it keeps them from finding another franchise guy
Yeah.
because they have QB settled for a little bit, but it's not like they settled it enough where I'm afraid
Yeah.
of that offense, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like you said, like they got the QB of the now and they got the QB of the future. But neither of them are killers, God killers.
Exactly.
Like if this was Aaron Rodgers, we were talking about, I'd be like, this might be a problem. But like Russell Wilson,
Yeah.
whatever, I don't mind playing him 2 times a year.
Like if they won out and all right, let's just start Kenny again, and then somehow play bad enough where they could draft a new quarterback, like a generational guy, like
Even
that's
with
what
Kenny, like that wouldn't have happened. Like
yeah.
they
So-
still would have found a way to win 8-9 games and had a middle of the pack, draft pick.
Yeah, so that's why I'm just okay with, like, as long as the Steelers don't end up with someone really scary, like you can keep mixing up the QB room.
Like I keep
don't really
forgetting
care.
that the Steelers made the playoffs this year.
With Mason Rudolph starting a couple games at the end.
Like, so they have a shot, at making the playoffs. They always
But
do
do we
with
think-
Tomlin as the coach. But there were a lot of quarterbacks injured last year. The Jets are reloading over there with A-Rod. With the signings of Tyron Smith, signing John Smith and trading for Morgan Moses. So they're reloading over
Tyron
there.
Smith.
Yeah, Tyron Smith. The Bengals will be healthy next year. Well, not the Bengals. Joe Burrow will be back next year. Deshaun will be healthy. So we'll see if
Herbert.
Herb too. We'll see if Pittsburgh sneaks into the playoffs again, but I don't really got them going for it.
Yeah, I think they're honestly in the North the team we have to worry about the least, and I think the team we have to worry about the most is the Bengals.
It's funny that you say that because the Steelers are the team we have to worry about the least, but we're still probably going to find a way to lose to them this year.
Probably, it's fine.
Like we're 1-7 against them in the last 8 matchups. Like we're going to.
You're
find a way.
lying.
I promise you, we are 1-7 against the Steelers in the last 8 matchups.
Oh my gosh.
Like I think the one. I don't want to say this because I don't want to be wrong, but the last time I can remember beating the Steelers was when RG3 played in 2019 because Lamar had already secured the MVP in the 1 seed. You remember that rainy, sloshy game that I think that
I
was
was
the
there.
last time we beat the Steelers, if I'm being
I was
honest.
there. That's crazy.
Because we got swept by them this year with the drops in the first game. And the
then
same
starting
thing this time.
Snoop.
Yeah, we started Snoop and lost him again. But yeah, they definitely are a team we have to worry about at least, even though we're 1-7 against them in the last 8.
Yeah. But what do we think about the Bengals? What they did?
I don't
I
know.
didn't see they signed Trent Brown today.
Yeah, they did. They did sign Trent Brown today. To me, it just feels like the same old Bengals. I don't want to discredit them, but that Super Bowl run felt fluke. I don't want to call it fluke. They got hot at the right time. Joe Burrow doesn't really scare me. Like I don't have nightmares about
Wow.
him. I do
Wow.
have nightmares about Pat Mahomes, but like honestly, like to me, that's the only quarterback in the AFC that I'm really worried about. Josh Allen doesn't really scare me. Burrow doesn't scare me. Herb, A Rod. I got Lamar Jackson on my team, man. So I'm really only worried about Mahomes. I'm worried about the King. I'm not worried about anybody else.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of just restocked. Kind of just feels like they're trying to hold it together one more time
Yeah, the wheels are
before.
falling off for sure.
Yeah, because you're either gonna keep that receiving core together and the rest of it's gonna fall apart, or you're gonna let T Higgins go and that offense isn't gonna be as explosive
Yeah.
as it has been. So
The
I
Gazeki
think this
sign.
is
Go ahead.
I think this is gonna be the year for them to really make that push, but I don't know if they can get over the hump like you said.
Yeah, I would say the Gazeki signing. I liked it, but also didn't like it because that means Brock Bowers is out of the question. But yeah, like otherwise, like I don't know. I just feel like it's the same old Bengals.
Yeah. I mean, it's worked. They did get to the Super Bowl, but
Yeah, yeah. There's one thing we haven't done, so can't speak too much on it. But I don't
maybe
know.
there is a certain man who just signed a $16 million contract that can push us over that hump. The King, Derrick Henry.
Mr.
How you
D.
feeling
Rick
about it?
himself. I love it. Just because I believe the signing will open up our offense. I think with the addition of Henry, playing Lamar Jackson with Gus Edwards, Keaton Mitchell, Justice Hill in the backfield, there was already 7 in the box. Now you might have to bring 9 in the box, and only have 2 corners out there with no safety help. It's going to be hard, not even just, everybody talks about the read option, but the play action, the play action boots, it's going to be disgusting, man. You fake handoff to Derrick Henry, you have to play run first. That's how the NFL works. Derrick Henry puts his head down and opens his arms up for a handoff. You have to go play run. There is no dropping back into coverage. You are going downfield. So I'm excited to see that fake handoff Lamar roll out, and then pop you have 6 in the box playing Derrick Henry because Lamar just faked the handoff. Now Lamar Jackson's in 6 is in open space. There's only 5 guys left. There's 2 wide receivers. I mean, there's 2 cornerbacks guarding the 2 wide receivers. That means there's 3 left. There's 1 guarding Mark Andrews. That means there's 2 left. I don't know what teams are going to do. I'm telling you, like the play action boot to Lamar Jackson. I mean to Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson space, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews coming across the middle. Maybe even likely, coming under that. It's going to be nasty. It's going to be disgusting. I'm expecting Zay to go for 1,000. I'm expecting Andrews to go for 1,200. I just really think I don't even think Derrick Henry is going to go for more than probably 1,200 yards. Like I just think the addition of him is going to make everybody else's job so much easier.
See, I disagree.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
really think that I really think that Derrick Henry could have one of his best years as a pro at 29 years old, because the Titans had the 31st yards before contact for running backs
Sheesh.
in the NFL over the last 3 years. You know who had the first?
If those guys
The
over in
Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, for sure. But
Derek has had people in his face as soon as he's gotten the handoff the last 3 years. 1.6 yards till contact for the Titans. I mean, I think we're up near 5 yards before our backs are like, or I think it was up near 3. 5 is crazy, but either way,
I would say that's halfway to a first down.
like the fact that he's gonna have so much room to build up that acceleration, build up that top speed, which Derrick Henry has.
Yeah.
You know how many 99-yard touchdowns he's taken all the way to the house. Like he might go for like 7 yards a pop. I don't want to get too crazy, but it's just gonna be so lethal having that much power from your back and then having that much speed from your quarterback.
See,
I don't know how you stop us.
Let me go back to you on that, because I like the point, but I still don't agree with it. Derrick Henry was the Titans' offense. Like there was no other offense out there. Like no disrespect to D-Hop, but it was the Derrick Henry show. That is not going to be the case in Baltimore. It's not going to be the Derrick Henry show. It's going to be the Lamar Jackson show. And the weapons around him are going to be the supporting cast. Derrick Henry was the main show, and everybody else was supporting cast. Derrick Henry is not rushing the ball over 250 yards, 250 times this year. It's not happening. He rushed for 280 last year, 349 the year before, 219 in 2021, and 378 times in 2020. That's not happening. With Lamar Jackson in the backfield, Keaton Mitchell, and Justice Hill, it's just not happening. Like that, the speed power combo of him and Keaton Mitchell, I don't got him going north of 250 carries. So that's why I feel like his numbers will be down this year.
I don't disagree, but I think he still might have one of his better years. Like,
yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna say it's being a bad year, nothing like that. But like, he's still going to have double-digit touchdowns because when we get in that red zone, the ball is going to be his. Just like it was for Gus Edwards last season. 22 is getting the ball inside the 5-yard line. But just the yardage wise, I don't think he's going to come save the day. Hopefully, he just is enough of a presence on the sideline at 6'2" to remind John Harbaugh to run the ball.
That's the most important thing.
Like, when it's the third
That's the
quarter
most important
and we
part.
only have 3 carries, I just want him to go stand behind John and just start breathing heavily. Just to remind him that you're there. Like Darth Vader impression, all of that. Just like that, bro. Or even just go put your hand on his shoulder. You ain't even got to say nothing. Just tap his shoulder and look at him and remind him that, like, y'all are paying me for a reason. So, yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to January for D. Henry. But during the season, he's an older back. The man has been killing his body in Tennessee. I don't think the Ravens are going to come run him into the ground.
All I gotta say is it's gonna look ridiculous one play to another with Keaton taking his position behind Lamar and then Derrick Henry taking the next snap. Like,
You ain't got
this
to think
could
about
not
it
be
like
more.
that, boy. Just think of the pistol with Keaton behind him and Derrick Henry to the left of him. Ain't no Gus Edwards and Pat Ricard no more, boy. It's Keaton Mitchell and Derrick Henry. let's run a triple option just cause the D and crash.
Could not be
Lamar
more.
Keaton outside. Like it's
Yeah, could not be more different.
it's going to be nasty.
All right, so after quick deliberation, we just felt like we did not touch on enough of this crazy free agency to end the episode right there. So we're going to give you guys a little extended episode this week. Talk about some of the other big free agent moves that have changed the outlook of the league. I think we should start with the big quarterback move. Kirk Cousins to Atlanta.
Kirk O'Chains.
What do you think this does for the Dirty Birds?
Once again, 2 for 2. Feel like the least I'll give. Kirk Cousins to the Falcons. We called it. I will say, do not draft Kyle Pitts in fantasy. Kyle Pitts told him, if you want my number, I need targets. And Kirk Cousins decided he will be wearing 18. So that tells you everything.
That's a bad look.
Tells you everything you need to know for Kyle Pitts' fantasy outlook. But on a serious note, though, I love the move. I love what the Falcons did after the move, and signing Mooney and Rondale Moore. That offense is going to be explosive. The NFC South is theirs to take. We all know that. And I think I got the Falcons for like 10, 11 wins.
The Falcons, I don't know, man. Like, this is shaping out to be a very, very, very good roster. Show me the holes besides edge rush, which you're probably going to address at 8. Like,
got to. Dallas Turner should be there.
Or Latu. I mean, both of them are great pass rushers. I mean, you've got a stacked offensive line. Both your tackles are locked down.
Yep.
You got Lindstrom on the inside. Your weapons, you got Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Darnell Mooney, Rondale Moore, Bijan, Tyler Algier. Like, that's plenty.
Yeah. There's no reason they don't go to the playoffs this year.
Yeah, that would be like on the same tier as like Russ in Denver, but I don't know. I feel like that Denver team wasn't a quarterback away like
not at all.
Everyone wanted to say.
Maybe they were just not the right quarterback.
Yeah.
Nathaniel Hackett obviously tailored that offense to be for A-Rod. Didn't get A-Rod, got Russ, and, the rest is history. But Kirko changed, man. I think he'll open that offense up for sure. I'm a big fan of Kirk Cousins. I personally think he's a very consistent guy.
Very slept on.
Very slept on. I know his playoff wins, don't show, the amount of money he's being paid. But after playing with Desmond Ridder for 2 years, I'm not mad at the Falcons for throwing that bag at him. He's shown he can make young wide receivers blossom. Stephon Diggs, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. And next on the list is Drake London. An insane route runner. I think
big
Cousins,
body.
Yeah, big body also. I think Cousins and London will have a great connection this year for sure.
I just think that there's a real chance that this is one of the better teams that Kirk has ever been with. Like, it's not just the fact that he's only won one playoff game. Like, that's not all that you can look at. Like, he was playing with Washington for a while, and then he was playing with stagnant offenses in Minnesota until Justin came around, and then their defense was so terrible that can't win in the playoffs with one of the league's worst defenses. And this team has a good I was going to say good to great, but they got to add a pass rusher for me to start calling them great. They have a good defense and I think a great offense with Kirk plugged in there and with the new additions at wide receiver. This is an easy playoff team to me, and I think they should be competing in the NFC for that title game. I mean, I think they're up there now with this signing with the Lions and the 49ers. I don't know if that's crazy to say, but
I agree. I think it's fair to call them a one-tier team in the NFC now. Especially like after watching Kirk Cousins the first 3 games of last season, losing to Tampa Bay, Philly, and the Chargers, the man was out there wheeling and dealing the ball, bruh. His defense,
he was on an MVP path.
He was 100%. Was probably going to lead the league in touchdowns if he played the entire season. But yeah, just what he should do for that offense is going to be phenomenal. And Falcon fans, it's safe to say that your team is relevant again. Because they got Kirk Cousins and they didn't lose their draft pick. Like, that's the part to me that's like, you gotta. I don't want to call him a franchise. He's a franchise quarterback, and you didn't lose your first round pick for it. You didn't lose your top 10 pick for it. Especially seeing how the Browns and the Texans trade has gone down in history. and all the weapons that the Texans have got from that trade. The fact that the Falcons were able to get a guy like Cousins and keep their future, the sky's the limit for that team, if you ask me.
And I don't even think that the contract's super crazy either.
It's just a lot
Like-
of guaranteed money, but like,
For the market, like, I think it makes sense how much they paid him.
yeah,
4 years, 180. What does that put that at?
4 years, 180,
Is that
45.
40 a year?
45.
45?
Yeah,
That's easy.
I'm not mad at it, man.
That's easy. 100 million guaranteed. You're only really locked into him for 2 years, and then if it doesn't work out, then you got like 20 million rolling over. So,
Yeah,
oh wait, no, it says 90 million in 2024 and 2025, and then 10 million in 2026. So like, really, if it doesn't work out, you're stuck with him for 2 years.
yeah.
And I think it's gonna work out.
I think so.
Good on the Falcons turning this around.
Yeah, shout out to them.
What's the next move you want to talk?
I feel like we got to talk about the Penn State kid.
Saquon.
Yeah, Mr. Quadzilla himself. No, my bad. I just lied. This AJ Dillon. His quads are also massive. But yeah, I think Saquon, helps that offense. Pause. My bad. My bad. My bad. Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Devontae Parker, Dallas Goedert. Obviously, they lost Kelsey offensively, but the weapons are good. That backfield is going to be dangerous. Same thing with Lamar and Derrick Henry. That backfield of Jalen Hurts and Saquon is going to be dynamic and for different reasons. So I'm excited to see what they do over there in Philly. I think this is important for the head coach. I know it's weird to go to the playoffs and be on a hot seat, but I think this was a very aggressive, very competitive move for them. And this will definitely be a make or break year for the head coach position over there in Philadelphia.
I agree. He just, it's becoming clear that their Super Bowl run was very reliant on those coordinators in, why am I blanking on both their names? The head coach for Indy and the head coach for the Cardinals. Jonathan Gannon and, what's his name?
Wow, I'm blanking too. I can't lie.
Either way, it was clear that he was relying on them after both those units really fell off, and he turned away from play calling halfway through the year. So this is the season for him to really prove that he deserves this job. But back to Saquon, like, he's gonna take this first carry in Philadelphia and see blocking that he's never seen since
Yeah,
like it's immediately gonna be the best blocking he's seen in 6 years.
100%, 100%.
He's gonna be. I mean, I think he could really get back to that rookie year production.
I really hope so, because like I remember I was talking to some friends a while back, and I was just like, "Yo, like, Saquon was supposed to be the next Barry Sanders. Like, Saquon coming out of college was like the chosen one." And like you said, that rookie year was phenomenal, 1,300 on the ground. But then it's just with that O-line, his production just continued to drop. And that Eagles O-line, I feel like almost since I didn't been alive, bro, it's been one of the top offensive lines in the league.
That's what they do.
Yeah, they run the ball, man. They maul people. Like I said, they lost Kelsey, but the O-line is still good. You just obviously lost the centerpiece, the focal piece of that O-line, but like Lane Johnston's still there. Cam Jurgens for sure will be ready to step up. Landon Dickinson, Jordan Mailata. Like that team ain't going nowhere. But I will say with losing Kelsey and Cox, it's evident to me, like you said, the coordinators were very important, but this was a very players-led team. And and they did just lose two very important guys in that locker room. But I don't think that should stir them off path from making the playoffs again.
And Kelsey seems like the type of guy that's going to be involved with the organization, even if he's not playing for them,
Yeah.
just because of how good of a dude he is.
And you can't forget they also added Bryce Huff and Devin White.
And they brought CJ back.
Yeah, CJ also. So they're really on it, man.
A dude who had 6 picks for them in that Super Bowl run year. So yeah, they're. I think they got better personally, even with losing Kelsey, and I wouldn't be surprised if in the next week Hassan Reddick gets traded. Because Bryce Huff is the same player as Reddick, like not the same caliber of player. I think they are very close now. Bryce Huff is very underrated, but they're both designated pass rushers, both smaller guys, both guys that you don't necessarily want in on run plays, and you can't have 3 of those guys in Bryce Huff, Hassan Reddick, and Nolan Smith.
Yeah.
Josh Sweat is a bigger edge. So to me, them making this signing tells me that Hassan Reddick is going to go the Cardinals, team up with Jonathan Gannon for a 3rd-round pick in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
But
they also, I just realized that Thomas Booker was an Eagle.
Really?
Yeah, Thomas Booker's over there and PJ. So you got the McDonough and Gilman kids over there on the same team now.
I thought Thomas Booker was a Texan.
Nah, he was signed, I believe, off the practice squad to the Eagles last season.
Huh. We got all the McDonough or all the Maryland boys over there.
And MIAA, basically.
Yeah.
And the Eagles, because of signing Devin White, they can decide to address whether linebacker or corner in their first round. Obviously, there's really no first round linebackers, but it makes their decision of drafting a corner in the first round. It just makes that decision a little easier,
Mm-hmm.
Little less like we have to hit this,
Yeah, they definitely did the reload and they did it the right way. So.
Yeah.
Thumbs up to the Eagles, and they're always making big splashes every year. So I don't know how they can keep doing it, but they do it.
All right, so talk to me. Who's the bigger sign for the Raiders, Christian Wilkins or Gardner Minshew?
I know you're messing around, but I don't hate the Minshew deal.
What do you get? 25 over 2?
25 over 2. I mean, this tells me that they're just waiting one more year to have a high enough draft pick to go draft the future. I don't think that they'll address QB in the draft. I think it'll be one more year before they do that. But they're building something special in Vegas. Christian Wilkins and Max Crosby is going to be disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, Max Crosby has basically been out there by himself and been one of the best defensive players in football.
Yeah.
And now you add one of the best D tackles in football to play right beside him.
I can't wait to Go ahead.
I would not be surprised if Max Crosby won Defensive Player in the next couple of years.
I wouldn't be either.
At all. I mean, he's one of my favorite players to watch in the league. No ifs, ands, or he's a freak. Like I don't know many players that have the. I don't know how to describe it. Like he just does. He's relentless. Max Crosby is the definition of relentless. That dude, from the snap, is going 150 miles an hour at your quarterback.
Yeah.
And he's doing it blocked by 3 offensive linemen because there's no one else to block on the Raiders' defensive line.
Yeah.
And you paid a lot for Christian Wilkins. Like, that's a lot of money, especially after Matabike got $12 million less than that. But I like it to take some burden off of Max Crosby.
Yeah, what you were saying about relentless, the way I put it is the kid was just born to be a Raider. When you think of the Al Davis Raiders, like Max Crosby just fits the bill.
Yeah.
In the locker room on IG Live, body full of tats, smoking cigars. Like the kid is a Raider. He's meant and born to play for the Raiders. I can't wait to see those packages. Where Christian Wilkins will be at the 1 tech, Max Crosby will be at the 3 tech, Tyree Wilson, and Malcolm. I think it's Conce. I'm not sure
Kuntz.
if I Kuntz.
Kuntz.
Yeah, I'll be butchering names, boy.
That's why I'm here.
I can't wait to see that. Like Christian Wilkins at the 1 and Crosby at the 3. Like as a center, like you're sitting there, like, yo, where do I take this protection? Like, because one of your guys is about to be left on an island. Like either your left guard or right guard is going to be on an island with Max Crosby or Christian Wilkins. It's like, who do I help? So I can't wait to see what Alex Pierce does with that. I know he's going to have so much fun with those two. Just got to rebuild an offense a little bit, and yeah, it's going to be nasty. Question for you though: by the time the Raiders get a new quarterback, will Devontae Adams still be there?
Maybe. I think you'll have 1 year of it, and then depending on how that QB plays, that'll be whether Devontae stays.
So you're giving him 2 more years with Las Vegas.
I think he plays this season, and then if they address QB in the next draft, he'll play on that rookie season with that quarterback. And if that QB is a bust, if that QB's Bryce Young, then not what I meant. If he has that Bryce Young season,
I would say, let's say like a Josh Rosen and stuff. I don't know about
yeah,
Bryce Young.
yeah. But if he comes out and plays like Zach Wilson, then he's gone. He's gonna go find somewhere else to finish up his career. But if he comes out and plays like C.J. Stroud or maybe not C.J. but Justin Herbert, Baker Mayfield, like he might stick around for a little bit and see this through. So I'm not too worried about Devontae leaving if they do this right. And if they don't do it right, then who cares if you have Devontae?
Yeah, I don't think
if you
go ahead.
What?
I would say I don't think it gets past the season. I think this is last season in Las Vegas.
Really?
You ever seen the meme of like SpongeBob in the house? I mean, not SpongeBob. Squidward is in the house looking at SpongeBob and Patrick having fun. That's how I feel about Devontae Adams. Like watching him watching A-Rod in New York, getting Mike Williams, getting Garrett Wilson, getting Tyron Smith. Like he's just like, yo, like when is my help coming? I don't see. I think a year of Aiden.
He made his own bed.
Yeah, he did, 100%. But like, I think a year Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew is going to break him. I'm not going to lie. Like
I could see it.
I think that's going to like he might pull an AB jersey off to the fans, waving, going crazy. Like I think that this might be his last straw for sure.
I guess we're gonna have to see, but it's just such a weird year for the Raiders because I don't really know how many of these teams are like this feels like the realest rebuild in the league right now. The Broncos. This in the same division.
Yeah.
Like where you're just letting whoever play quarterback and figuring it out next year, like those are two of the only teams that are really doing that.
Yeah. And it's like they got to play Pat Mahomes twice a year, so that doesn't help also.
Well, that's probably why they're doing it. It's like, okay, if we can't get someone to compete with Patrick Mahomes this year, like it's not even worth wasting our time.
Yeah.
Because after the Dolphins draft Bo Nix, like who are you left with?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe Michael Penix will come save him.
Yeah. No, I doubt it.
He might be built like Jamarcus Russell in that black and gray, black and silver.
Yeah. Bust.
Speaking of, we talking about Tay Adams. Let's talk about another wide receiver. Keenan Allen to Chicago. How you feel about it?
I think it's a great fit. I think that Chicago just became one of the most QB friendly situations, or like rookie QB friendly situations I've ever seen. Like, this team is primed and ready to drop Caleb Williams into. I think it works so well because, one, Keenan is now your slot, DJ's on your outside, and if you want to, you can go get your other outside receiver in a Romo Dunze or a Malik Neighbors on the outside.
Oh my!
I saw statistics. I think it was Theo Ash on TikTok. He makes great content if you've never checked him out before. But he was talking about the deal. And I think DJ Moore wins 66%, or I don't know if it was percentage or what, but DJ Moore is a far better receiver against man coverage than he is against zone coverage, and Keenan Allen is the exact opposite. So they're just a perfect complement to each other in that if you need that guy to go and win one-on-one against a corner, DJ Moore's your man. If you need someone to just sit down in the zone, get you that first down, Keenan's your guy. So, I mean, Caleb is going to have exactly what he needs. You're going to have DeAndre Swift. You're going to have
Khalil Herbert.
Roshan. You're going to have Roshan. You're going to have Khalil. And then you're going to have Cole Kmet. Potentially
Gerald
a
Everett.
rookie wide receiver. Yeah, like, it's going to be... You got a good offensive line, too.
And
Darnell
a great
Wright.
defense. Great
defense.
But arguably the best defense in the NFC.
What?
Yeah.
What are you? What are you on?
I would die on that hill, Pop. The Bears
are you
arguably
on?
have the best defense in the NFC.
You're tripping.
If
bro.
if it was not for that offense, Caleb get drafted number 1 in Chicago. We're gonna talk about this again. The Bears are going to be in the playoffs next year. If Caleb is even a shadow of what he was at USC and Oklahoma, the Bears are making the playoffs. The only thing that held them out of the playoffs was quarterback play last year. That defense was great.
You and I could have played on that defensive line, bro.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Montez Sweat.
You got Sweat. TJ Edwards had an amazing season.
I said defensive line.
That's the defense, but you can't say that defense.
You can't have the best defense
that defense
in the NFC.
You tell me what Kevin Byard, Jaquan Brisker, Jalen Johnson, Trey Edmonds, TJ Edwards, Montez Sweat, and you go draft another guy, the defense is just going to get better. Like I understand, like, as a football fan, it's easy to dismiss the Bears because of how bad they were, but like that defense was very good. Like it's them and the 49ers for the best defense in the NFC.
I'm sorry to get off the topic, but like I can't just let you get away with saying that. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go down the NFC and I'm gonna name every defense that I think is better.
All right.
The Cowboys. There's one.
All right.
The Lions.
We're at 2.
Did they fire? Did they fire Joe Barry?
I could not tell you.
The Packers.
I'll check. We keep going as we. He did not return to Green Bay.
The Packers are better. And the Niners.
So what is
the Packers' defense without Joe Barry is going to be so sick. Especially, that's a good transition point adding Xavier McKinney to that, like, that defense is stacked top to bottom. That's what the Bears defense wants to be. You got Xavier McKinney. You got Jair and Eric Stokes on the outside. You got to draft another corner. Your defensive line is Rashawn Gary, Lucas Van Ness, Kenny Clark, and Preston Smith. Come on, bro.
I really like that Bears defense, man. I do. That defense kept them in a lot of games. A lot of games they really
After the Sweat trade, they were sick on defense.
like that defense. I'm a fan of that defense. I'm a believer in it. Like I said, if Caleb is even a shell of what he was at USC, that team is making the playoffs.
I do think that they're gonna make the playoffs.
Like they were almost competing for it last year. Like if Fields is just Fields and Tyler, is it Bagant? Like if they Bagent, I was wrong on both. If they just play a little better, like that defense was keeping them in games.
Can I tell you something crazy?
Talk to me.
I don't know if you know this, but Etch, you remember Christian Etchison?
Mm-hmm.
He backed up Bagent in college.
For real?
Yeah.
Wow,
Isn't that funny?
I didn't know that at all.
For the listeners that don't know who Christian Etchison is, that was my freshman year JV quarterback. Beast.
Like the Bears went 7-10 last year. Almost enough for a wild card spot, man. Almost enough. The Packers got in at 9-8. They were close. So we'll see, man. We'll see. But I really like that defense. Let's get back to some free agency though. You talked about McKinney. I know how you feel about that. How do you feel about the Josh Jacobs signing?
I like it. I mean, it's kind of the same thing that happened when they signed Aaron Jones a couple years ago. I think he was going into year 4 of a 4-year deal. They just signed Josh Jacobs to a 4-year deal. The Packers have done it again where they're like showing that they want a franchise back, someone that can take all those carries and be a bell cow. And Josh Jacobs can be a bell cow for them. He's got less tread on the tires. He is more durable. He's a good receiver out of the backfield. He's a big back. He's proven that 2 years ago he was the league leader in rushing yards. I love the move. I think they're going to run the crap out of him. He's going to be a beast in fantasy next year. I think it's a great move. I mean, I know a lot of people were upset because Aaron Jones was really great down the stretch last year, especially in the playoffs, but he just hasn't been healthy, and it's not someone that you can just completely rely on. So, I like it a lot.
It's one of those signings to me that like didn't really move the needle for me. Same with Chase Young to the Saints. Those are two moves that I was just kind of like, all right, cool. Like they'll have good seasons, but like I don't think either of those moves will help push that team over the hump. For the Packers, I just think it's a team that is young right now, and it's going to take them some time to finally get it together. And I don't think Josh Jacobs is going to come over there and be the guy to help push that young team over the hump, to help that team mature. I just think that's going to come with time. So maybe, by the end of his, second, third, fourth year in his deal, it shows that, that was the right decision. But like this year, I don't think it'll do much for them, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that big of an upgrade, but I think it gives you a little bit more insurance in the injury department. And
Yeah,
it's going to be someone that they're going to run their offense through all day long.
100%.
So him and
Um,
Jordan Love going to be causing issues.
yeah, I would say this. Does AJ Dillon stop getting goal line carries now?
Yes, he's terrible. He's terrible.
I saw something that said like he had like no. I was about to lie on his name. That's Alexander Madison. How you feel about that move?
Where did he go?
We had like
I saw that today.
we had a circle. How did it go? Josh Jacobs went to the Packers. Aaron Jones went to the Vikings, and Alexander Madison went to the Raiders.
Uh, I I don't know. Anywhere that Alexander Madison goes, I just feel like they're probably going to draft a running back to play over him. Like,
Yeah, I can't blame you.
he did not move the needle at all last year. Like, Ty Chandler came in as a rookie and took his carries away from him. Like, Cam Akers. They traded for Cam Akers
Yeah,
to play over him. Like, not a good back. Not a good back.
that was one of those moves. Like after they decided they were moving forward Madison last year, the Vikings after they decided to move forward Madison after letting Cook walk, I was just like, you might as well go call Poppy Gagan, like see if Poppy go run the ball for you.
Hey, my jump cut is crazy.
You might tear something on your first play.
Don't hate, bro. You seen that stop start ability?
They're gonna send you out there like A-Rod. Send you out there with the flag. Just to go pop on the first play.
Ow.
So are we missing any moves?
I think we can talk about
Jerome Baker.
One more.
I was there. Talk to me. Who you got?
I guess two more.
Two more
that I kind of wanted to touch on. Robert Hunt.
Overpay.
And I don't think so. I mean, I think it's an overpay, but you got to protect Bryce, so I'm paying whatever.
20
Honestly,
mil, though?
I got to keep him upright. I don't care.
I guess that's fair.
It's the same thing that we always talk about, like putting weapons and protection around young QBs. Like,
yep.
They have to forget the defense. You can drop 42 points on me every single game on defense. I do not care. I need to figure out, if I'm the Panthers, is Bryce Young a bust? And I'm putting everything around him to figure that out. Figure out the defense later. Like, I do not care at all about how the defense plays. And Ojero Evero, the defensive coordinator that they have in there, is going to be able to elevate replacement level players to play decent enough defense. So I'm okay with overpays on offense. I'm okay with trading for Deontay Johnson. I think that was a trade in favor of the Panthers. So I think they're doing a great job of figuring out if Bryce Young's the guy. And let's go draft a quarterback or a wide receiver at pick 33 as well. Like, I need to figure this out.
Yeah, I can agree with that. That trying to figure it out as soon as possible. I just don't know if Robert Hunt was worth $20 million a year. I guess he's a younger guy, but like I personally would have rather just went and got Kevin Zeitler from the Ravens, hopefully on a 1-2 year deal. But like you said, we always preach it: protect your young guys, get your young guys weapons. So for that, I can't hate it. We do have to bring up Aaron Donald retiring. I feel like we would be doing him a misservice if we didn't talk about that. I know it's not a free agency move technically, but like it's arguably the greatest D tackle of all time. I feel like he should have went out after the Super Bowl, but decided to run it back. 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, 8-time First Team All Pro. Mind you, he only played 10 seasons. 10-time Pro Bowler.
Pro Bowler.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. 2014 Defensive Rookie of the Year and a Super Bowl champ.
111 sacks.
Yeah, like I just remember like growing up and watching Aaron Donald and just being like, yo, how is he doing this from the interior? Like the
He
numbers,
might be my favorite non-Raven
I think so.
to ever play.
Like I
Like, I stayed up watching Aaron Donald highlights till like midnight, and I got to work at 5 in the morning, and I was staying up watching Aaron Donald highlights because, like, that's like my goat for defense. Like, I didn't really watch J.J. Watt all that much, and I didn't watch Lawrence Taylor at all. So, like, Aaron Donald is that dude for me. Like, that's the greatest defensive player that I've watched.
like
So to see someone like that go out,
yeah, AD was so good that it was just like even when he made plays against your teams, it was just like one of those you shrug it off. Oh, that's Aaron Donald. Like you just couldn't be too mad at an offensive guard looking back at the quarterback when 99 was the guard, in front of him. Had 20 and a half sacks in 2018 as an interior defensive lineman. Things he's been able to accomplish in his 10-year career is just insane. It just doesn't make sense. And hopefully he passes the torch to Matabike.
yeah.
That's all I'm hoping for.
I mean, Matabike, he's got big shoes to fill, but he reminds me of Aaron in his size and his speed. So
Yeah.
if he can add that pass rush tool belt and continue down the path he's on, then be feeling good.
100%.
Yeah.
I would say just to quickly read a couple free agent signings. Jordan Whitehead is now a Buccaneer. Bobby Wagner is with the Commanders. Eric Armstead is a Jag. And DJ Reader is a Lion. We already talked about Devin White. And Joe Mixon is a Texan. I think we skipped over that earlier when we were talking about the Texans. And I really like that move. Like we say, surround young talent. All right, so that concludes our doubleheader of NFL free agency. We haven't been with y'all in a while. We just felt like there was so much that has and will continue to go on that we had to make this a longer episode. Free agency is continuing. It's not stopping anytime soon, so neither will these episodes. Our RSD, retain, sign, and draft episodes are also still coming out. Don't worry about that. Get those to you soon. Keep an eye out for content. Keep listening. Keep interacting. Keep posting, reposting, liking, commenting. Because we need all y'all to get this done. If me and Mr. Poppy are going to spread our football gospel to the world.